What is going on, everyone? This is the Standard Podcast. We are back with another episode. Appreciate you all tuning in today. And I have a very special guest, as usual. We have Don of Notary Nation in the building. How are you doing today, Don?
I am doing amazing. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I can't complain at all. It's been a hectic morning to say the least. But hey, what's the day without some challenges, right?
Yes, always, always.
Excellent. So just starting out, just how we like to start off the show is, when I introduce our guests, just tell the people a little bit about yourself and who you are and what do you do.
Okay, so my name is Dawn Velez. I am from Ohio, from Dayton, Ohio. I am currently living in Florida, right by Disney. I am a wife of 27 years. We just celebrated last month. And I am a mother of four, two boys and two girls. I am also an entrepreneur. I help my husband with his business, and I have my notary business that is my primary focus right now.
They say you're a mother of four.
Yeah.
You don't look like it. You don't look like it at all.
I appreciate that. A lot of people, tell me they're surprised at how old I am and things like that. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I appreciate it because I know how I feel in my body.
Yeah.
But I appreciate, having a younger look because I don't want to look old. Who wants to look old? So, but my daughters are 30 and 22, and my sons are 19 and 13.
What? Hey, I'm shocked. Man, I wouldn't even have believed it. Wow, that's
That's cool. No, I'll be 53, so it is what it is.
yeah. Obviously, black doesn't crack as
Yeah, yeah,
always.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely doesn't. What else can you explain for having such great genes? Because you look really, I mean, you look great. You look awesome. What's that? I mean, just I wouldn't even have guessed that you would have four kids and you don't look like it. So, what is it that you doing? Because you're doing something right. Is it was it drinking water every day? Diet? What is it? Like spill the beans.
Definitely, definitely drinking water every day. That's a must. But every day, all day. But honestly, I think that because I kind of started early with like my partying, I probably started a little too early because I moved out when I was 15 years old.
Mhm.
So, back then, it was 1985. I was making $1,000 a week. So, in my mind, I was rich.
Yeah,
In my friends' minds, I was rich,
yeah.
and I did like a lot of shit. I did so much, it's embarrassing. Okay. But as a result of that, I kind of halted early 20s. I was done,
Yeah.
and so from there on, I don't know, I just had a vision on how I wanted to see my life, and the path I was on was not going to get me there.
Yeah.
So I left, I moved out of my town, I moved to Atlanta, and I lived in Atlanta for 13 years, and then I moved to Florida.
Now you
It's
say
all
you
about choices.
so you say you from Ohio, right?
Yeah, from Dayton.
Talk
Hmm.
about that. I mean, talk about that because I'm pretty sure it's a huge cultural shift to go from Ohio and then go to Atlanta and then in Florida. Like, talk about what was that transition like?
Okay, so at the time when I did it, this is funny. So when I was young, I was just fearless. I
Yeah,
was like a Tasmanian, like a tornado. I had no fear,
yeah.
no type of apprehension whatsoever. So I moved to Atlanta. I had $100 in my pocket. I literally had $100. I didn't really have a place to stay, but I stayed at a friend. So she went to stay with her boyfriend.
Yeah,
Um, and during the time when I was staying at her place, kind of waiting, because I transferred with the job that I had been with. I stayed with that company forever, but so I had income and everything, but I kind of took my time trying to figure out where I wanted to be and etc. I was used to Atlanta because I used to go down to Freak So I was used to being in, the overall culture, which, Atlanta has totally changed now, but back then it was still kind of the place to be. So I just kind of made some decisions. And to be honest with you, for me, with my story, it's nothing but the ancestors and God that kept me, because I did some things that were so reckless that it's just unbelievable. Like if my daughters even thought of doing the things that, moving and all the stuff that I did,
Yeah.
I don't know, I would probably just collapse. But it's it was easy, but it was a little difficult because I the first day that I moved to Atlanta, I met my husband. I didn't know, of course, at the time that was who I was going to marry, but the day I got there, I met him, and pretty much he has not let me go since, because that day that we met,
Yeah.
it turns out we worked in the same department and all this other stuff. So he just started, like, doing stuff for me. And I'm from a small town. So in my town, men were just not like that. And plus, I was still young too. So
Yeah.
none of us were actually women and men, but it just wasn't something I was used to in terms of how he treated me and things like that. So as a result, I fell in love, and, the story continues. But coming to Florida, I don't like it here. Florida is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Like every place is like a postcard wherever you look.
Yeah.
But because I am very much Midwest, I'm just not Southern like at all. Like I can't put my head down when I speak to you. I
Yeah.
can't, certain things that I see, especially our people doing, to navigate, because they're just used to it.
Yeah.
I just can't, and I won't conform to that type of behavior. So my goal really is to get out of here. I don't like it here. It's crazy. It's very strange. This place is very, very different. Um, but I mean, I live in a beautiful condo. I mean, the aesthetic and certain places here, it's absolutely nice and amazing. But overall,
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that anyone move here.
Yeah, you always hear like Florida is like I said, the aesthetic of it looks great, but every time you look in the news, it's a Florida man does something, Florida woman does something. It's just something about, it's something in the water out that way. So it's like, man, Florida folks are a little different than everyone else. There's
Mhm.
always something going on out there. You just hear this strange headline about them doing something. So yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that one.
It's embarrassing. I see Florida man. Florida man is crazy, and so is Florida woman, and
Yeah.
it's no thank you.
Yeah, yeah, they different out that way. Just to backtrack a bit, now you say you are from Ohio. Like as far as like family goes, did you have anyone in your family? Did they have any entrepreneurial experience? Did anyone own any businesses, or are you pretty much the trailblazer in the family?
So, that's funny that you should ask me that. No one's ever asked me that question, and I actually appreciate that question.
Thank you.
So, my grandmother had like 12 brothers and sisters. And a couple of her brothers owned like garage shops where, they was fixing on cars and things like that. But this is, back in the day. So I'm
Yeah,
talking about my grandmother. So in my family, those two, what would be, I guess, my great uncles, I don't even know where they fall, but those are the only people in my family who did anything outside of a job to make money.
mhm,
So the only reason I know that story is because my uncle, shout out to you, Uncle Mark, my uncle would always tell me that, like, you got their spirit and this and that and the other. And I really do, I appreciate that. But for the most part, it's only me. I'm
yeah,
the only one who has gone to the levels, because I don't work 9 to 5. I
mhm,
work, but I work our companies. And it's funny because I was sitting at work, and just for no reason, I just sat in the cubicle and I just started packing up and I just walked out. it's like something just came over me. I didn't have no plan B. I didn't have no alternative. What are you going to do? I just couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
could not do it. The month before that, I kind of fell out with my supervisor because they sent out an email saying that if we have to go to the bathroom, that we need to come to his desk and let him know. And I was like, bullshit, I'm not doing that. Like, there's just no way. You know me, I've been here long enough. You know, I don't abuse my break times and I don't abuse my bathroom times. I'm not about to start, and you're a man.
Yeah.
You don't need to know what I'm doing
Right.
like that. So I told him that, and he was like, oh, not you, Dawn. I'm like, I know, not me, because I wasn't going to go for it anyway.
Yeah.
But ever since that last email, it took me maybe like a month, almost a month after that. I just felt like, I can't. And so the first business that I started was a daycare and in home daycare. That's really kind of what got me going in terms of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
That's really what did it because I had everything. Like we did Spanish lessons, computers, field trips. We had our little T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
After school program. It was on. I still talk to my clients who were babies then, but I still keep in touch with them. But it was nice. I loved it. I was able to take family vacations and do all this stuff that I really couldn't even do when I was working a regular job because I just couldn't afford it. Um, and so that was the first time I did anything on my own. After that, well, actually, during that time, my husband is an artist and he's a dope ass artist, like for real. He's the truth.
Wow.
So he brought his experience he's Puerto Rican. He brought his experience from Puerto Rico and all the different things that he would do there and to here because Puerto Ricans are like really a part of the culture. He grew up in New York and all that, so
Mhm.
it's like his graffitiing and all this other stuff. I was like, we need to do something with this, so we got a little shop. He was killing it, like airbrushing on just anything.
Yeah.
Like he has games and just airbrushing on all types of stuff, doing very very well. And then we ventured off into murals, and with him doing murals, forget about it. I mean, killing it. So right today he still does murals, but he does them for like the Disney vacation homes and stuff like that, over there. Um, and I don't know, like both of us just have this thing where, we just probably don't make good employees
Yeah.
because it's really difficult to have someone, just you just don't have time freedom. And for us, it just doesn't work anymore. So it's hard sometimes
Mhm.
because, you got the slow seasons and you got the times where but I rather do it for us than have to deal with, outside. So for
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, there's just no turning back for me.
Same here. I feel the same exact way. That's straight, and that's an adult. I feel some type of way where I have to tell you that I'm going to the bathroom. It's like what?
The
That
audacity,
yeah,
the audacity.
that doesn't even sit right with me, right? But just the nerve to even have the idea that you need their permission, or I need to be told that when you're going to the bathroom, I'm an adult with children, married, pay my own bills and everything. Like
Yeah,
that just doesn't
crossing the
sit.
line,
This doesn't sit right with
crossing the
me.
line. No.
Now, with you opening that daycare business, what were some of the what were some of those things that you learned early on what to do and then what not to do? Because I can only imagine, just sorry, just for marketing, like I said, I mean, social media wasn't as wasn't around that time. So, what was marketing that business like, and what were some of those early challenges in building that business?
I am so glad you asked me that. I've never been able to really talk about this. Okay, so you're right. There was no social media.
Yeah,
It did not exist. MySpace wasn't even here yet.
yeah,
And so I did this. I took my little, bless that printer. That printer just really saved my life. I took that printer and I made little quad flyers,
mhm,
right? So each piece of paper, I wanted to get the most out of it. Cut those up and just had a whole bunch of little tiny flyers. And I would just put my babies in the back seat go around, and we lived in an apartment at the time. I would go around the apartment complexes every single morning. When I say I did that every single morning, I'm a person that when I get into the zone of something, that's it. I'm all in. And nothing matters except the rest of the day could not start until we did that. So I started doing little things, and I know as a mom what I was looking for in a daycare, and I wanted to see little finger paintings that my kid has done. I wanted to see the popcorn balls that they made and the colors and all of this stuff. So I just started going to the dollar store and just getting like all of this craft stuff for the kids. I got some little cots.
Yeah.
And this isn't a one bedroom. I was in a one bedroom. But what I did, I took all of my kids' toys and I put all of their stuff in the living room. I got a little cheap little, because back then, if you didn't have a border going across your wall, you were like, not, your house wasn't designer, you know. So I got like a little kids border and I put that all around. And when people would come in, they were just like, they loved it. So I would sit down and talk with them. I learned quickly that I needed to come up with a way for them to pay. And I couldn't get into like the sob stories because I was getting burned, with people telling me and me feeling terrible, this single mom, oh my God, how could he do her like that? She can't pay her daycare,
Yeah.
getting all involved in the whole drama of it. So I learned quickly that I have to keep that part of it business.
Yeah.
So as a result, I came up with a parent handbook. I came up with an application. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna watch a child. We got to meet first,
Yeah.
what's your um, beliefs and what do you expect from us and etc. So I got on like the food program where they would reimburse me for all the nutritional meals. I just had to make sure I had the menus planned out. I mean, listen, I was in there. I kid you not. We did, story time. We had the little colorful little carpet. I took that from there to like a townhome, and then I was renting a house. And the house had a whole separate like entranceway, a whole separate area for just the daycare. It had its own bathroom and everything. I loved doing that. My husband hooked up the little murals all over the walls. It was amazing. And I just wanted to be the best. So I took that. Oh, and sidebar, one thing that saved my business is that I ended up getting 3 strippers as clients. And when I tell you those girls were like, oh, we're going to Miami for this and that. Can you keep them? Yep, I sure can. We're going here to do this. Can you keep them? Yes, I sure can. And I mean, they pretty much funded my business.
Yeah.
It's the truth. They did. God, I hope those girls are okay. But anyway, so haven't thought about them in years. But so I was able to grow my daycare to the point I was doing like consults for other women who are interested in opening up a daycare because they started hearing about me and things like that. But yeah, just from got it out the mud, as they say, when it comes to that, it was awesome.
I appreciate you for sharing that because I hear so many, like, not just notaries, but just entrepreneurs in general, like, complain about, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. It's like, the tools that we have available to us today with social media, with smartphones and everything. It's like I couldn't imagine being in an era where the majority of your marketing is like pretty much boots on the ground. Like you passing out flyers, you're at these vendor events, whether you cold calling, you dropping by the office, or even to get in the yellow book pages on top of that, right? So for us to have the type of tools that we have available to us today, it's like we're not in a position to complain about anything. It's either going to make it work or make it work.
Yes, yes. I tell my kids that all the time because, of course, I want my kids to be entrepreneurs as well. And so, like, I have these conversations with them. I got millennial, I got a Gen Z, I got, the spectrum pretty much with my kids. And I try to, and I tell them this all the time until the day I die, you will hear me preach entrepreneurship to you. One day, one of y'all are going to catch it because it's the information is just unbelievable that is available. Like I was telling my husband because he was trying to do something else. And I was like, yeah, you can't do it like that. And he was like, but that's how we done. I'm like, yeah, but that was then.
Yeah.
Everything has changed now. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, I'm an introvert, which he is. And it's like for him to get on Instagram and say anything, for
Yeah.
him to get on TikTok and do anything, it's just
Yeah.
not going. So I'm like, I know, but we got to try to, move with the tide here and
Yeah.
do it, but the information at the click of a button, like,
It's
no,
ridiculous.
if you wanted to know how to register your LLC, you couldn't just Google that.
Yeah.
You had to go through a process, finding out any type of information,
Mhm.
details, bank account, like a lot of stuff we just didn't know that we have now. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely privileged to be in this information era, like I said, where the pitfalls that we possibly couldn't avoid before is like now it's like the pitfall is like right in front of you, and we got the information on how to avoid it. It's like, so if you choose to walk into that pitfall, that's on you. Like you're being ignorant,
for real.
right? So yeah, I appreciate you for sharing that. So knowing that you're like say your background in the daycare business and you have an early entrepreneurial experience, how did you end up getting into the notary business?
It's really funny because so I uh, I'm so embarrassed to even say this, but all right. So in 2019, I started keto, right?
Mhm.
And I lost 100 pounds. I mean, fine, okay, everything's snatched up. I'm
That
good.
part.
But I had a stroke, and the stroke is what like motivated me to do keto.
Mhm.
I started, feeling just amazing. My body, everything is looking good, and I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
And as a result, and to try to keep myself accountable, I started an Instagram for keto. But it wasn't to do anything except document where I started and where I am because, the stroke like scared the shit out of me. I don't ever want to see that again. I really thought I was dying. And so women started like asking me questions like, how you do this, how you do that? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I was like, ting, business. So I turned that into like keto coaching and, I got an ebook, I got meal plans, I got all this other shit. I was into it. So I had a girlfriend who she was watching me. I met her through, Instagram, and turns out, she was down the street from me. We started hooking up to go to the gym and all this other stuff. And once a month we would meet. She would come over and we would sit down and just drink coffee, talk shit, and then explain, come up with ideas on how we're going to make our businesses better.
Yeah.
Because she's real estate and a notary. So every time, like for 5 months, she would be telling me, girl, I just have all these signings. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't have anybody to help me. And I was like, girl, I'm home. Like, because I don't know what doing a signing means. I don't know what she means when she says that.
Right.
So to me, I was just like, girl, I'm here. Just call me. I'll go. I'll do it for you. No big deal. I'll represent you, whatever.
Yeah.
And, but I was talking shit. I really wasn't interested. I really was just like, if she calls me, she calls me. But I didn't know what the deal really was. Mm-hmm. Finally, after, like I said, about 5 months of her saying this to me, I was seeing her out, we were standing outside, and I was like, all right, I promise I'm going to look into it. I'm going to go right back upstairs, log in, and see what you're talking about with this notary stuff. And I did. And the first thing that got my attention, $10,000 a month. And I was like, damn, I can make $10,000. She didn't tell me that,
You disclosed that to you.
And I'm like, shoot, I would have looked into it before now, So I just started digging further. And then I was like, I don't know, because it was so many videos. Because to me, the $10,000 was like, really? Yeah. You sure? Why isn't everybody a notary? And then, so I was on the fence. I had just a teeny bit of skepticism, but not enough to stop me from looking further into it. Yeah. So then I started looking for our people to see what we got to say about it. Yeah. Are we out here saying that we can do it? Because, that's not the first thing that pops up. The first thing that pops up is some other people, notaries are paid the same day, da, da, da. Right. And so I started, following different people that, kind of resonated with me. Griff was one of those people. Grizel. Oh, my God. The first time, I'm telling you, I fanned out. With the first time when I was in a live and Grizel said hi to me, I was like, ah! Grizel said hi to me.
Shout out to Grizel. She awesome.
Shout out to Grizel. I was like so excited because I knew, before I decided to do it, she was one of the people that I just kept going back to her videos and stuff, you know. And so, man, I spoke to my girlfriend and I was like, girl, you know, what's up with the $10,000? She was like, girl, I know $10,000 a month. This is how it goes. And she broke it down and I said, well, it doesn't make sense to just stay at, you know me, I gotta boss it up. Okay. So if the money is in the signing service, I need to have a damn signing service. Yeah. That's where I need to go. And so I started just figuring out, okay, how to be a notary. I got kind of a bit of information overload when it came to where I was digging around, because I was digging around Clubhouse, Facebook, and YouTube. And shortly after I got my commission, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm talking so much. So, okay, my mom, my youngest daughter, and me got our commission together. My mom, after we got our commission, she got sick. And she wasn't able to, like, you know, stay in there with me, you know, building Notary Nation. But she did things like, you know, she chose our name because my keto business was Curves Nation. And she was like, you need to stay with the nation, you know, just, I was like, okay, let's stay with that. So we did. And then she chose the colors and stuff like that. And, you know, she was just, it was me and her, but then she wasn't able to really rock like that anymore. Well, temporarily. And then we got some other stuff going on health-wise. So I was like, okay, mommy, so I'm going to do everything that I can do to try to make this business profitable. And then when you're ready and you can come back, then I'll have learned a lot of stuff and I can teach you how to do this, that, and the other. So that's kind of where we are right now. But initially I was going to give up because I was like, my mom is sick. Everybody is like giving out so many different, because I spent like a couple $1,000s by the time it was said and done in terms of getting trainings, you know, going to this person for mentorships, you know, doing this, doing that to try to learn. Because even though I know the things, you know, on the outside in terms of running a business, I don't really know nothing about being a notary. Right. So I learned after, well, about 2 months of doing loan signings. I just don't like loan signings. I got my own reasons for that. Okay. And I decided to focus on general notary work where I can have more control over my income and, you know, the times that I go and all of that. So now, another thing too, I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go in terms of like niching down or focusing on one particular area once I realized all the variables and all the different options that we have for using our stamp or just being a notary. Because like for I-9, you don't use your stamp and stuff like that. So I went on and started paying attention to all of the demographics, all of my analytics. Where is this coming from? Where is that coming from? And the majority, probably because I'm in Florida, the majority of my business was some type of estate planning documents, whether it was a will, a POA, or whatever. And since that seemed to be doing well, and that's where my money is coming from, I need to really get good, you know, and get familiar with how this process goes and what's going to be our process as a company. You know, if people need a witness, if people need documents, because I had a lot of people asking me, can you drop the will for us because blah, blah, blah. So I talked to a girlfriend of mine who's a paralegal, got her on board. My daughter, my youngest daughter, she's working at the law firm, but at first she was just a receptionist. So she wasn't like, you know, doing no paralegal stuff. But now she's a criminal and family law paralegal. So I brought her in, like, can you help me, you know, if I need this and that. So I started just, you know, coming up with creative ways to expand the business that wouldn't necessarily cost me, but I could profit from. So now that's where we are.
Yeah, I appreciate you for sharing that. And one of the takeaways that I wanted to touch back on is one, like you said, you invested in yourself by spending that money on the training. Because I think for most notaries, when you get into the business, it is pretty much you learn the laws, you get your commission, sign up with a signing service, and then you go from there. But I don't think most people understand that when you come into this business, that you need to make the investment in yourself, because no one is going to hold your hand throughout the process. No one is going to reach out to you and say, "Hey, you want to learn how to learn how to perform estate plan signings?" Like, no one's going to reach out to you unless you come across their page and they're marketing themselves. So you got to be very proactive coming into the business. As far as, if you want to learn how to do loan closings, okay, spend the money, spend the time learning how to perform loan closings. You want to learn how to do apostilles, okay, find a mentor, find a person that actually done what you're trying to do, and actually spend that money to learn it, because again, no one's going to hold your hand throughout the process. So I appreciate you sharing that you invested in yourself, because most folks are not willing to invest in themselves. Like, it sounds good to talk about it in the moment, but when it actually comes down to taking that card out and putting that card number in to actually invest in those trainings, that's when you put your money where your mouth is. So I appreciate you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And another thing that I also want to touch on as well, because I don't think notaries do this, is just from listening to you, you come off as someone who's about team, building out a team. So I've heard you speak on having your mother helping you out, having friends that's in the business as well, and bringing them on the team to help you out as well. And another dope aspect is your daughter has paralegal experience, which is a bonus in the family law, and you said family and criminal law, right?
Yeah, that's what she's doing now. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I
Mhm.
think that's pretty cool that you're able to bring her onto the team as well. And you're not doing this by yourself. Like, you're doing this all as a collective. And I think as a collective, as from what I've seen with my agency, I've made more money build it by bringing people in, as opposed to trying to do this by myself. Because when you're trying to do this by yourself, you really don't have the time to actually do everything that needs to be done anyway. So when you're able to bring on people who's experts in their lane, that's going to help your business scale up even further as well. So I appreciate you for sharing that, because I come across so many solopreneurs within the industry, but I have come across many folks that's willing to build out a team to get to that next level.
Mm. Yeah, if you're planning to have some type of longevity, you should consider linking with people that you can trust.
Yeah,
And even if that doesn't fall through, don't give up, because not everyone is going to see your vision. And if they do, they may not see it as clearly as you do.
yeah,
And that's okay. But as the person who's steering the ship, you have to be willing to say, you know, I'm going to take a chance here. Part of being an entrepreneur is being a risk taker.
yeah,
Like, you cannot be no punk over here scared talking about, oh, I don't know, I don't know. No, you got it. Okay, you don't know, but do it anyway.
yeah,
I tell my kids, and I tell just about every conversation that I have, for some reason it comes up, feel the fear and do it anyway.
yeah,
You never know what's on the other side of fear, and fear is something you created in your mind.
yeah.
It's
An illusion.
let it go. Right, it's an illusion. So some people say, well, I don't know if I can trust this person. If you can't trust that person and you don't know, then go with somebody else.
Yeah,
But you don't know if you can trust that person either, you just think you can. So
yeah,
the only way you're going to know that is to actually begin doing business.
yeah.
So over here, like, even we have another notary, we got two actually now that are bilinguals. And I also have another person that helps me as well. So it's Tyrone, he's a notary loan signing agent. And he really just, because he has a business degree,
Mhm.
he really just helps me in terms of navigating on that part. But every time we have a staff meeting, every time I have a class or anything like that, he's right there beside me.
Yeah,
He knows my mom. I've known him for several years. So he knows my mom, and he knew, what happened. So he kind of stepped in.
mhm.
Um, but because I'm very good at feeling out, how's the energy with this person when I'm speaking with you, how's the energy. So the two that are bilingual, awesome, awesome. But if I didn't feel that, I would not work with them. So we start them off with just doing simple things, maybe even just like a one-page document. We also kind of test, like, okay, I got a last minute, I know this wasn't expected, but are you available, just to see, like, are they going to try to make the effort to get there,
Yeah,
before we can say, like, they're actually a part of Notary Nation, or are they just a notary that we can call whenever we just need, someone to go out.
yeah,
But there's all types of variables that go into building a team. I think the primary thing is treat people good.
Yeah.
Um, Care, show them that you do care about, what's up with their lives. How was your son's birthday? Just whatever. And building that trust between each other
Mhm.
and having a common goal. You help me reach where I'm going to go. All right, you don't know how to do Canva. I'll design all your stuff for you. Or, I'll show you how to do it. Just, it's a give and take.
And I want to touch on the trust building. I hear folks say that quite often. It's like, I want to get into business, but I don't know if I can trust people. Well, if you plan on getting into business, you're gonna have to trust people eventually, because if not,
Yes.
then you're not going to be in business, because we're in the entrepreneurship is a lot of relationship building. Obviously, we're trying to trust. I'm trusting a person that's going to provide this service for me, and they're trusting me to do the same for them as well. Even if in regards to sending referrals and building your network as well, like you have to establish the trust at some point, and if not, you'll do better off just staying at your 9 to 5 and just keep doing that.
Mhm. That's a fact. And unfortunately, that people will make an excuse for anything they don't want to do.
Yeah,
You can say that, you can't trust it and you're not going to win every time. There's going to be some L's along the way.
absolutely.
And that's just one of it. So, one thing I want to offer people who may be considering building a team, first of all, I encourage you to absolutely do that because you cannot do it all. And it all is a lot.
Yeah.
That's why you can't do it all because it's a lot. So, if you find that you are speaking with someone and y'all have, this camaraderie amongst each other, see if the person, find out what their beliefs are. How do they see business? Are
Yeah.
they able to separate their emotions from business? And I think that's a part of the reason why it's a little difficult sometimes for people to do business with family, for an example. Your family might see you as, little whoever, and here you are, a whole grown person operating as a CEO, but they'll never see you like that. Those that will never see you like that is not who you want to ask to join your business with you. The
Facts.
ones who can see that you've grown and they communicate with you as an adult now and they respect what you're doing and they show interest.
Yeah.
Plus, maybe they've had, some projects that they've been working on or whatever. But gauge it and kind of do what works for you. Just don't be disappointed if it's a friend, a relative, neighbor, whatever, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work out. It's okay. It didn't work out. Next. You have to keep it moving. You really can't let anything stop you.
Yeah, you got to be able to separate that, that personal and business. I think it's a real fine line, especially working with family, because I mean, it's hard to fire your family members, but if it does happen, next time I see you at the cookout, you don't want to talk to me now. The conversation is awkward, so yeah, you really got to do your due diligence when it comes to building out your team, because, like I said, this is your business at the end of the day. You want to make sure you have the right mixture of people, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to reach this desired goal. If you're a person that fits, okay, we're gonna bring you on. I'm gonna be patient with you and work with you every step of the way, so I can get to a point where I may not need to micromanage or watch over you. You already know the processes, the procedures of everything that needs to be done, and we can get to that point, right? So yes, it's key. Yeah, I'm still learning myself. I got a couple of team members working on bringing a third person in as well, and it's been a very fascinating process, because I've viewed myself before coming into this year as someone that's solo. Like, I'm real big on well, my favorite sport is basketball, so I'm one of those kind of people where if you give me the ball, I'm not passing it back to you. I'm a, I'm a cook. I'm gonna go ISO like that, and I put that same mindset into this business. But if you're trying to get to that, to that 7-figure number, which is what I'm striving to get to, it has to be. It's going to take more than my efforts to get to that level, right? So it took me a while to get to that point, but now I fully grasp and understand the concept of building a team and getting to that desired place. I'm all in. I'm all in on that model. All in on it. So I appreciate you for
Good.
sharing that. Uh,
Absolutely.
and then so right now, so I know right now you're building out your sign of service now. I know you mentioned say you don't do loan, you don't do loan closings, which I don't blame you at all. Like is the focus of your business? Are you doing mostly estate plan signings? What we say is like your preferred service that you're offering right now?
Yeah, my preferred um, business as far as the niche goes is estate planning. But I added apostilles. I
Mhm.
took an apostille class with John Smith, I believe is his name. I did his class. He's out in California. And I was just
Yeah,
like,
I took his class.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
great class, you know.
yeah.
Um,
Thorough, very
yes,
thorough.
very thorough, extremely detailed and thorough, but he's been doing it for years. He's, the godfather here, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
on that. And I learned a lot from that. And then I probably, um, I don't know. I stopped doing this, but I would pay for a class and then I would take that same class again with somebody else. And then I would take it again with somebody else. I stopped doing that shit, but I don't know. I just wanted to make sure I was like as well versed as I possibly could. Like, okay, well,
Yeah,
this is how he does it. Well, let me see how she does it. Let me see if she
yeah.
has something else I could take from that. But I stopped doing that stuff. But now, apostilles in Florida I have one coming today. Matter of fact, she'll be here at 11:30. Um, and yeah, yeah, yeah. So when I go to the Secretary of State tomorrow, I'm taking.
Oh,
I crashed.
there we go.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. I don't know what
Lost
happened,
you for a quick second. But you were
but
saying that
yeah,
you have an apostille that you're doing. You're going to the SOS tomorrow, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be heading up there tomorrow. One of them has to go to DC, but so high ticket, it just makes sense to focus on higher ticket items like the apostilles, estate
Mhm.
planning, and
Mhm.
things like that. Now eventually, yeah, I'll go and focus into converting into 10.
I think we froze. Did I lose you? Pause it for starting back. Okay, there we
So
go.
in going to the Secretary of State and focusing on apostilles
Mhm.
and focusing on estate planning,
Mhm.
that's really where I just prefer because it's more for me where the money resides. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. All right. Yeah, so that's what I'm focusing on, and then later on, after I've got more experience as far as just being a notary,
Mhm.
I've got my name out in my community. I've
Mhm.
built up, some clients. Like I have right now only three repeat clients, but I want to get more into that repetitive thing. I want to become a
Mhm.
few of these assisted living facilities. I want to be their primary. I got some things to work on
Yeah.
before I say, okay, let me focus on building my signing service. But
Mhm.
that's just the way, that's just the route that I'm choosing to take right now.
I think that's a great idea, and not to mention you already have three repeat clients, so that's a great space to be in. I mean, we all love repeat clients. That repeat business is so slept on. The opportunity for you to continue to get to oh, there we go. No worries. We gonna edit that out.
Okay, thanks.
No, I was just saying that yeah, repeat clients are the best. Man,
Yes.
less money to spend on marketing. They know your process already. And if you provide such a great service to them, they end up referring you out to people. I mean, referring out to their colleagues and peers, right? So if it's one thing to take away from this interview, y'all, is focus on getting those repeat clients, estate planning attorneys. If it's a title company, if it's an architectural law firm for apostilles, shout out to Cam. Who else needs services? Fingerprinting, private security firms. They definitely need your services when they're onboarding new guards. So their repeat clients, love them,
Yes.
love them so much. So just I mean, man, with man, so much that you shared with us today. Um, what do you have coming up in the works? Do you have any workshops? Do you have any books? What do you have coming up in the works that we should know about?
Yeah, so I do. On the 15th, I'm doing a Canva night. So it's more like a fun Canva night, get your wine, get your vodka, whatever it is, get your apple juice. And we're just going to sit there and create. And so for the people who sign up for that, I am asking that you already have your hex codes together. If not, let me know in advance so we can get that ready. And then I want to create like three different things for them. So I want to do an ID badge. Um, I hate to call it a flyer or a resume because I have to think of a name to call this document, but it's kind of like a notary resume. And then also a brochure. And just to help them to become familiar, because if you can create this stuff on your own, your marketing materials, and you just have to pay for printing, it really does save on having to pay. Even if you go through, some of these other sites and stuff like that, it's better to have your own vision there that comes to light. So I really love Canva. I used Canva with another business that I had, which is a travel business, and it's just my thing. So that is coming up next Friday. And then let me see, what are my dates for that? Because I broke up two classes for the 17th and the 24th. And what we're doing there is for any notary because some notaries, I was surprised to learn this, but some people are still taking like Cash App and different things like that. They don't really have like payment processors set up. They're not sure what direction to go in. I'm going to do a little bit on that, but I'm also going to do show them how to do like a SWOT just to see, how can you make your business better. We're going to do a lot of things. That's why I broke it up into two parts because a lot goes into it. And I want to show them how I've been able to consistently either meet or surpass what I need to make for my notary business.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to show them kind of how to do that, how to make things work, how to handle the calls, how to even make cold calls, how to keep up with that, do the follow-up. It's a lot. So I just wanted to put all of that out there and hopefully, be able to help people. I keep my classes, well, the in-person class that I did was a little bit bigger because I had the abnormal notary with me. So that one was a little bigger than what I would like. It was 15 people. I usually like to stay anywhere between 5 to 7 people. So that way you really can get what you came for. You can ask questions, you feel more comfortable in that environment. So I'll be doing those three things this month, but I think the Canva class, because it seems to be very, very popular, I'll probably do that every month.
I think that's a sweet spot, 5 to 7. That's a real intimate experience because I think even for me in school when I was in large classes, it can be a little intimidating, like especially if you're not grasping the information, you don't want to ask those questions because you don't want to come off as the person where you're the one that's not getting it, but everybody else is, right? So
Right.
I think that's a very sweet spot to be in. 5 to 7, very intimate experience. Make sure y'all check that out. And then I always like to ask this question before we head out. Where do you see Notary Nation in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I'm spending this 3 to 5 years just educating myself and educating my team.
Mhm.
So that's my primary focus right now is just trying to see, who's the next person's foot that I can sit under and learn. And so right now, and it'll be that way because I want to be well versed on what it is that we're doing. So we plan to open up another location. I'm sitting here in our first location now, actually our second location because we moved out of the first one. The first one was just too small. It just wasn't.
You guys are growing. You're growing. That's a good problem to have.
So we're going to go ahead and get another location in another county, and that'll be within 3 to 5 years. And then by the time we're up and approaching 10 years, I plan to be, sitting on a beach in Jamaica and just kind of doing things from my cell phone, signing services, different locations. That's where, we would like to be. Nationwide, of course. and with a roster of notaries and a roster, you know, of clients. Just so right now, my focus is, like I said, educating myself. I'm new to being a notary. I've only been a notary for a little over a year.
Mhm.
Um, but business is my thing. So that's why I've been able to do the things that I have to make Notary Nation give us a good foundation.
Yeah.
Uh, but I definitely just want to continue to learn as much as I can. Whatever I got to pay for, I pay for.
Yeah.
Whatever is free information, I'm gathering that too.
That's dope. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for sharing that with us today. Um, yes, that's you know, with your business experience, regardless if you've been in the business for 6 months. I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for as for a while, so I have no doubt that you're gonna that your business is going to take off and it's going to do very well. Very, yeah, I have no doubts. As Yeah, I want to thank you for stopping by today, sharing your story with us. Very inspiring. It got me really excited as far as the team building aspect, because like I said, that's where I'm at within my business right now, just building out the team and just adding new people onto the team. So I appreciate you for stopping by today. Where can the people find you? Where can they get in touch with you? Where can they support you?
So you can follow me first on Instagram. It is at the number one Notary Nation. My website is onenotarynation.com. And you can always, you know, shoot me a DM if you have questions or suggestions, or whatever, you know. I offer free 15-minute consults. If you wanted to connect on that, that's in the link in my bio. And you can register for any of the classes or anything that I'm doing that you're interested in via the link in my Instagram bio as well.
Make sure y'all tap in. Make sure y'all support Don. Make sure y'all tune in for Canva night. Book that call, y'all. She has entrepreneur. She has a business owner experience. She's been a business owner for many moons. I'm pretty sure she can. She's seen it all. So make sure y'all book your consultation. Before we jump off, got to plug in the Stampin Academy real quick because that's just what we do. Make sure y'all tap in with the Stampin Academy. 7 courses, ebook. We got 10 plus recorded sessions. Just recently added the Apple Steel replay, Apple Steel 101. Shout out to my guy Winston for coming through and educating us. Yeah, make sure y'all check in, y'all. Weekly live classes. We're not doing a live class this week, but next week we will be doing a live class. Stay tuned for that announcement. For any notaries that's listening, make sure you join the Stamper community. We're always looking for notaries to work with nationwide. I don't care what city you in. I'm looking to collaborate with you and pass out opportunities. Make sure you go to Stamper community. We're on Facebook as well. Again, thank you to Don for being my guest. I'm also looking forward to the opportunity to also collaborate with her, hopefully on a future signing down in Florida as well. And make sure y'all make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you listen to us on Spotify as well. And until next time, y'all, peace.